Have you ever felt like history is just a bunch of names and dates?
Oh, I know that feeling.
Like, yeah, it can all just blur together sometime.
It does, yeah.
But then you come across like a person who just totally grabs your attention.
Mm.
Someone whose story is so captivating, you have to learn more.
Right.
And that's kind of what happened to me with Shireen.
Mm-hmm.
This woman ruled an empire, but during like crazy upheaval.
Wow.
There were religious tensions that honestly could rival anything happening today.
Yeah.
And she left a legacy that inspired artists and poets for centuries.
That's incredible.
And what I think is really cool is that we're going to, explore her story using historical accounts from way back when.
Okay.
The 6th and 7th centuries
Oh, wow.
and the Shahnameh.
Of course, the legendary epic poem.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's like we have a time machine.
It really is, yeah.
And like a front row seat to this whole drama that happened over 1,400 years ago.
It's remarkable how Shireen's story kind of bridges this gap between, like, what really happened and the legends that often grow up around, powerful figures.
Yeah.
It's a glimpse into the Sasanian Persian Empire, a force to be reckoned with, really. I mean, they stretched all the way from the Euphrates River to the Indus.
Okay, so let's talk about this Sasanian Empire for a sec.
Yeah.
Because it's not exactly something we all learned about in school.
Well, picture a vast, vibrant, multicultural society
Okay.
where Zoroastrianism was the main religion, but you also had Christian, Jewish, even Buddhist communities thriving.
Wow. So like a real mix.
Absolutely.
And this context is really important because it adds another layer to Shireen's story. It really sets the stage for like captivating drama.
Right.
And if I'm remembering correctly from what you sent me, this was also when the Sasanians and the Byzantine Empire were like rivals.
Exactly. Think of it like the late 6th and early 7th centuries.
Okay.
It was basically a giant chess match between these two empires, with the entire Middle East as the board.
Wow.
They were always trying to one-up each other,
Yeah.
making and breaking alliances, fighting wars that would change everything.
Kind of hard to imagine.
I know, right?
But that's the world Shireen comes into.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so tell us about her. Who was this woman who steps onto the world stage during all this chaos?
So Shireen was a Christian woman who became the wife of Khosrow II, the Sasanian king of kings.
Wow, a king.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, this sounds like just another royal wedding.
Right.
Some strategic alliance.
But their story, it's not that simple. It goes way beyond politics.
Okay, yeah.
It's love, religious tension, a woman defying expectations.
Now that's interesting. A Christian queen in a Zoroastrian empire. That's got to cause some drama.
You're catching on to why her story is so compelling. Imagine whispers in the court, the intrigue, the suspicions. Remember, marrying a Christian, that went against Zoroastrian law. But it seems Khosrow II was completely smitten with Shireen.
Wow.
And willing to, defy tradition for her.
Wow, that's quite a statement. A king risking religious upheaval for love. Sounds like something out of the Shahnameh. Okay, but let's move past the romance. What do we actually know about Shireen's power from, historical accounts?
Right.
Was she really in charge or just a figurehead?
That's the question historians have been trying to answer for centuries, and the sources you sent, they provide some interesting clues. See, Shireen wasn't just pushed to the side.
Yeah.
She was active in court life, had her own palace, even housed a precious Christian relic, the True Cross.
Wait, the True Cross?
The one Khosrow II captured from Jerusalem.
That's a big deal.
It is.
Especially back then.
Absolutely. Having that relic would have meant a lot, religiously and politically.
So it really shows how important she was.
It does. It speaks to her prominence in the Sasanian court and the complex role of religion in that era.
So we had this image, a Christian queen in the Zoroastrian Empire, influencing a powerful king, holding on to one of Christianity's most sacred relics. The Zoroastrian elite must have been.
I know, right?
How do they feel about all of this?
You're spot on to ask that. It's fascinating. We can only imagine, right?
Yeah.
The whispers, the Zoroastrian elites watching her, suspicious of her Christianity, her power over the king. Classic case, really. A woman in a position of power becomes a focus for tension, especially when things are uncertain.
Yeah. Feels very familiar, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
But as we know, empires don't last forever.
That's true.
What about Shireen when the Sasanian dynasty fell apart? Tragic end. Or was it a surprise?
That's where things get a little, unclear. Khosrow II, he was overthrown,
Yeah.
killed
Wow.
by his own son, Shiroi.
Oh, wow.
This was back in 628 AD.
Okay.
And during all this chaos, Shireen,
Yeah.
we don't know for sure what happened to her.
Oh, so like a real mystery.
Historians still debate it.
So we have a thriller.
Pretty much.
Questions, possibilities. What are some of the theories?
While some chronicles, they suggest she might have been killed. During the Purge? After the coup?
I mean, it makes sense.
Right. It's grim, but not a surprise given how brutal those power struggles were back then.
Chilling, for sure. What else did the sources say?
Some lean towards a more, I guess, romantic ending.
Romantic.
Tragic, though.
Oh.
They hint that Shireen, she couldn't bear losing her husband, seeing their world collapse.
Oh, so suicide.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. A queen choosing death over, a life without her king.
It does add another layer to her story.
Definitely. Any other theories?
There's another one, more hopeful, maybe,
So, okay.
that Shireen retreated
Retreated.
to a monastery.
Oh, wow.
Found peace and quiet in religious devotion.
A queen trading her crown for, solitude
It's possible.
really adds to the mystery.
Right, and it shows how hard it can be for historians to really know what happened in the past. We're stuck with pieces, whispers, interpretations that might be true, might not.
It's like a puzzle.
Missing some pieces.
But even so, we can see Shireen was a woman of strength, resilient,
Yeah.
made her own choices.
And that's what makes the historical accounts so interesting.
Right.
They give us a glimpse into who she was,
They do.
how she handled everything.
It's fascinating.
I was really struck by that account of Khosrow II writing to St. Sergius,
Oh, right.
a Zoroastrian king asking a Christian saint for help.
Doesn't happen every day.
No. It's like you're reading a private conversation.
Is, yeah.
A king pouring out his heart asking for a miracle. For him and Shireen to have a child.
Right.
It makes him seem more human.
Definitely. And what's really interesting, he admits in the letter that marrying a Christian woman, it was against Zoroastrian law.
So he knew he was breaking the rules.
He did.
All for love.
A bold move for a king.
Yeah, especially then. When religion and politics, they were so intertwined.
It speaks volumes about Shireen's influence.
It does, yeah.
But also the tough spot she must have been in.
Trying to balance her own faith
Yeah.
with her role as queen.
So no fairy tale.
Right.
Real issues.
Real challenges.
And in those challenges, we see Shireen's strength.
We do.
Remember those chronicles you sent?
Yeah.
They describe her as a skilled negotiator, someone involved in diplomacy.
She even interacted with envoys from the Byzantine Empire.
She wasn't just sitting around
No, she was actively involved.
in the political world.
She was a player, not just a queen.
Mhm.
And the sources, even though they're incomplete, they show us how she used her position.
Makes you wonder how her Christianity affected things.
Crucial point. Some Zoroastrian elites, they probably saw her with suspicion.
Yeah, I could see that.
Her faith, where she came from, her power over the king,
Made her a target.
especially during times of war.
So even though she had Khosrow's love, there was this distrust.
Yeah.
Must have been lonely.
Probably. But even with all that, her story, it's powerful.
It is.
She wasn't just a pawn in a man's game.
And that's where history becomes legend.
Exactly. The Shahnameh.
Yeah.
It doesn't shy away from the complicated parts of her story.
Okay.
It shows her as both, a femme fatale and a tragic heroine. Capable of great love, great sorrow. A queen with power, but ultimately a victim of fate.
A combination that's lasted through the ages.
It has. And even though the Shahnameh, it downplays her Christianity, maybe because of when it was written.
Okay.
It emphasizes her strength, her choices, her capacity for passion and sadness. Those are themes that speak to everyone, regardless of time or place.
So even in legend, her story is still human.
It is. It's about love, loss, the fight for power.
Makes it relatable.
Exactly. And that's how we can understand her legacy. It goes beyond history.
Yeah.
She becomes a symbol of a lost time, a reminder of love's power, and how the human spirit can endure anything.
Her story reminds us that even in chaos, human emotions, connections, they last.
They do.
It's what makes her story still relevant centuries later. And it makes me wonder, how does her story live on in Iran today? Did it fade away? Or has it been rediscovered? That's what's so fascinating about her story, right?
It is.
It still grabs us.
It does.
And her legacy,
Yeah.
It didn't just disappear.
No.
It's been reinterpreted, revitalized, especially in modern Iran.
It's remarkable. Even after all these centuries since the Sasanian Empire fell, her story still speaks to us, you know?
It does.
It shows how powerful these narratives are.
Yeah.
The ones that touch on love, power, identity.
Those universal things.
Exactly.
It's like she's become, I don't know, more than just a historical figure.
Right.
A symbol, maybe, of a lost world, but also of those struggles we all face.
You got it.
Yeah.
Her story, it resonates with people today, especially in Iran, because it shows what's possible for women in positions of power.
Even back then.
Even back then. Think about it. She defied Zoroastrian law to marry the king.
Yeah.
Bold move.
Very bold.
Willingness to challenge the status quo.
Inspiring, really.
It is.
It's like a reminder that women have always been pushing boundaries.
They have.
Making change.
And remember, her story wasn't just preserved in, like, history books.
Right, right. Art and literature, the Shahnameh.
Exactly.
It made sure her story was passed down.
It did.
It became part of Iranian culture.
Exactly. The Shahnameh, it turned Shireen into an icon.
Wow.
Her image, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Manuscripts, paintings, sculptures.
Amazing.
But what's really interesting is how modern Iranian artists, filmmakers, they've taken her story and used it to explore issues women face today.
So they're using the past to understand the present.
Exactly.
It's like Shireen's story is this framework for examining, I don't know, these social and cultural patterns that keep repeating.
You got it.
It's not just history.
No.
It's about understanding ourselves now.
Yeah. A perfect example. Abbas Kiarostami's film, Shireen,
Oh, yeah.
back in 2008.
I remember reading about that.
You shared those material.
Yeah, it's not your typical historical movie, is it?
Not at all.
What is it?
Well, instead of showing Shireen's life, Kiarostami shows a group of women. They're watching a movie about Shireen and Khosrow,
Oh, okay.
adapted from the Shahnameh.
Got it.
But we never see the movie.
We don't.
Only the women's faces.
Oh, wow.
Their expressions, their emotions,
Powerful.
as they connect with Shireen's story.
So smart.
Right.
He's using Shireen's story like as a reflection, showing the lives of Iranian women today.
Exactly. It's proof that stories can, you know, break through time
They do.
and connect with us on such a personal level.
I love that.
And it shows that Shireen's story, it's not stuck in the past.
Right.
It's still evolving, being reinterpreted
Yeah.
as the world changes.
So, like, why does this matter? Why should we care about a queen from an empire that's, long gone?
Because she shows us that even people from so long ago can still impact us today.
Yeah.
She represents that human ability to be resilient, to challenge what's expected, to leave a mark that lasts.
Her story is a gift.
It is. It lets us see this fascinating time period and think about those human experiences that stay the same.
The things we all go through.
Exactly. And how stories can connect us.
Across cultures, across time.
Exactly.
So powerful.
And we encourage you to keep exploring, dig deeper into those sources. See what else you can find about Shireen's amazing story.